Good morning and welcome back to A Life Worth Living, presented by Personal Success Development. I'm Frederick Roth, and today we're going to talk about guilt. One of the greatest hindrances in your success is guilt and or resentment. See, guilt is a form of bitterness. Resentment is a form of bitterness. Resentment is bitterness towards someone else. Guilt is resentment to something that you feel like you should have done or should not have done. And so we really got to identify this and deal with it, because guilt can ruin your life. Bitterness will ruin your life. Very important that we talk about it, because if we just let things go and we don't talk about it and we don't really open up this can of worms, you're just going to fester and the wound is going to get more and more infected. And so let's really dive in just for a couple minutes about guilt. Now, we asked you some coaching questions on the last episode, and it's very similar when dealing with guilt, just to really look at what guilt is. And so excuse me, let me ask you a couple questions. Who or what in your past has caused you to feel guilt? So, what was the person that caused you to feel guilt, or what was the event? What did you do or did not do in that situation or with that person that caused you to feel that you should have done something different? The guilt factor showed up. See, guilt really, when it boils down, is based on an expectation of yourself or an expectation of someone else, or a little bit of both. And when we don't step up to that expectation, we feel that twinge of guilt. And so I want you to really think about it. What was the event? What was the situation? Who was there? Why do I feel guilt? What happened in my life that I feel guilty about? Now, let me ask you this question. What could I have done, or what should I have done? Now, I'm asking these questions not because I want you to feel more guilty, but I want you to realize that guilt is just another one of those fantasy emotions that we project onto ourselves because of a lack of confidence in who we are, or a lack of action when we know we should have done action. Now, you're going to have to forgive yourself for that guilt. But I want you to think about these questions, because the next time you get in a situation, if you're not prepared, if you don't deal with this guilt, it will happen again. Humans have this tendency on living on a circular roller coaster. If we don't deal with the situation, the hindrances, the guilt, the resentments, the bitternesses, all these blockages that we develop in ourselves, if we don't deal with it, we just keep going around and around and around and around. And yes, it's getting annoying, I know, but it's the facts. And when we deal with the situation, when we deal with our guilt, our bitterness, these frustrations in our mind, it's like switching the track, and we get off on a different path. Finally, we see new things. Finally, we are able to receive better things. Finally, we are able to live life fuller because we've released something that has been holding us back. So deal with the guilt. Forgive yourself. The first person you need to forgive is yourself. Then you can forgive others. Keep in mind, we are talking about a sound mind this morning. And if you want a sound mind, you've got to get rid of guilt. Guilt can come back at any time because of our expectations and not living up to our expectations. But when you learn to deal with it, you can quickly forgive yourself and move on and become better the next time. Become more action-oriented the next time. Become more filled with integrity the next time and character. Let's work on a sound mind, getting out those negative emotions and feelings and thoughts, and living in a path that allows us to receive and give and receive in great abundance because we have no hindrances in our mind. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Catch you next time on Developing a Sound Mind.